Welcome to our deep dive on assertive communication. We're going to be taking a look at some source material you sent in
Yeah,
and really trying to figure out how to get better at this.
absolutely. And it's something that a lot of people seem to struggle with. They kind of fall into those two camps of being too passive
Right.
or maybe a little too aggressive.
Yeah, and I think our first source actually gives a really good example of the passive side of things
Okay.
with Karen.
Oh, right, Karen.
Yeah, she's got this job at an insurance company,
Mm-hmm.
and she is just overworked,
Oh, yeah, I remember her.
drowning in work.
Yeah.
And it's all because she can't say no to anything.
It's classic passive communication,
Right?
And it's interesting because it usually comes from this place of like not wanting to rock the boat,
Yeah.
maybe a fear of confrontation.
Right, or feeling like your needs aren't as important as everyone else's.
Exactly. And over time, that can really start to impact your self-esteem.
Yeah, you become almost invisible. Like, you're there, but nobody really hears you.
It can really make you feel powerless.
And one of the sources even talked about how this passive approach
Yeah.
can be something you learn,
Oh, interesting.
like from when you're a kid,
Okay.
or even just societal expectations, especially for women.
Absolutely. There's definitely this pressure to be agreeable,
Mm-hmm.
to put everyone else's needs first.
Right. So then on the other end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
we have aggressive communication.
Right, which the source described with that whole cutting in line scenario.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's been there.
Right, it's
Yeah.
like this universal trigger.
Totally.
Makes you just want to
Yeah.
lash out.
It's like immediate fight or flight.
Yeah, and in those moments, it's easy to let your emotions take over.
Yeah.
You might yell or get defensive,
Right.
try to take control of the situation.
And I mean, it can feel good in the moment,
Oh, for sure.
like you put that person in their place,
Totally.
but it also can just escalate things.
Absolutely.
And everybody ends up feeling worse.
It's like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Yeah.
You get that burst of flames,
Mm.
but then you're left with just smoke and ashes.
So how do we find that middle ground then?
Well, that's where assertive communication comes in.
Okay.
It's that sweet spot between being passive and aggressive.
Right.
It's about recognizing your own needs
Okay.
while still respecting the needs of others.
That makes sense. But I got to say,
Yeah.
the word assertive sometimes throws me off a little.
Oh, how so?
It can sound kind of pushy or demanding,
I see.
especially for women.
Right.
There's that expectation to be more accommodating.
Absolutely.
So how do we make assertiveness feel less like we're going against the grain?
Well, I think it's about reframing it.
Okay.
It's not about being demanding. It's about respecting yourself,
Okay.
recognizing that you have the right to express your opinions and set boundaries.
Right. And to stand up for yourself without feeling bad about it.
Exactly.
So it's not about steamrolling other people.
No.
It's more about making sure your voice is heard.
Precisely. And that's especially important in a professional setting.
Yeah, I can see that.
The source talked about how you need to own your accomplishments.
Right.
Don't be afraid to highlight your achievements.
Yeah.
It's not bragging. It's about showing your value.
Okay, so how do we actually get better at this?
Wow.
I mean, it's one thing to talk about it, but actually putting it into practice is a whole other thing.
You're absolutely right. And the source material outlined 4 key techniques.
Okay, I'm ready.
The first is about clear and honest expression.
So being upfront about what you're thinking and feeling?
Exactly. It's about finding your voice and using it with confidence.
Right.
No sugarcoating, no beating around the bush.
So basically just being authentic.
Yes,
Yeah.
but in a way that encourages open communication.
Got it. What's the next technique?
This one focuses on voice and tone.
Oh, yeah. Because the way you say something can completely change the meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to be mindful of your volume, your pitch, even how fast you're speaking.
It's amazing how much we communicate without even realizing it.
Right, like when someone says something that sounds nice, but their tone is totally sarcastic.
Yeah,
It completely undermines the message.
totally. So we need to make sure our tone matches our words.
Exactly, and the source actually had some tips for this.
Oh, like what?
Like pausing before you speak to gather your thoughts,
Okay.
taking deep breaths to calm your nerves,
Mhm.
and even imagining the sound coming from your chest
Oh, interesting.
to project a stronger, more confident voice.
It's like giving yourself a little pep talk before you even start talking.
Exactly. Okay, technique number 3 is all about body language.
Oh, that's a big one.
It is, you want to make sure your nonverbal cues are matching your words.
Right. Like making eye contact,
Yes,
standing up straight,
exactly.
looking engaged.
It's all about projecting confidence and authenticity.
Because if you're hunched over mumbling and avoiding eye contact, it doesn't matter what you say.
Right.
the message is going to get lost.
Exactly. You want to create that sense of congruence between your words and your actions.
Okay, makes sense. What's the last technique?
This one is about language choices,
Okay.
specifically the words and phrases you use.
So, like, what kind of things should we be paying attention to?
Well, the source emphasized using I statements.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
They're great for expressing your feelings and needs
Right.
without blaming or judging the other person.
Okay. And what else?
It also talked about avoiding generalizations.
Like always and never.
Exactly.
Well-
And sticking to facts instead of making accusations.
So instead of saying you always interrupt me,
Right.
you would say something like, I feel frustrated when I'm interrupted because it makes me feel like my thoughts aren't valued.
Perfect example.
Okay, but honestly,
Yeah.
I sometimes struggle with I statements.
Oh, how come?
They can feel a little forced or awkward.
I can understand that. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, like sometimes I feel like I'm just using them to manipulate the other person instead of actually expressing how I feel.
I see what you mean, like you're trying to guilt trip them into doing what you want.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's break down how to use I statements effectively.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Well, the key with I statements is to shift the focus from blame to ownership.
Okay.
So instead of saying, you always interrupt me, which just puts the other person on the defensive,
Yeah.
you could say, I feel frustrated when I'm interrupted because it makes me feel like my thoughts aren't valued.
So you're taking responsibility for your own feelings instead of pointing fingers.
Exactly.
So the formula is, I feel emotion when situation because reason.
You got it. And that because part is really important.
Okay.
It helps the other person understand how their behavior is affecting you.
Right, so it's not about attacking them.
No, it's about inviting them to see your perspective.
I see. Are there any other things to keep in mind when using I statements?
Yeah, you want to be careful not to use them as a way to manipulate or guilt trip the other person.
Oh, right.
Like saying, I feel disappointed in you.
Yeah, that's still a judgment even though it starts with I.
Exactly. The goal is to be genuine and express your feelings without making the other person feel wrong.
So it's about being assertive, not manipulative.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
And another thing to remember is that I statements aren't always the best approach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes a more direct approach might be necessary.
Like if someone is being really disrespectful or crossing a boundary.
Right. In those cases, a firm, please stop, can be more effective.
So it's about choosing the right tool for the situation.
Exactly. Assertiveness isn't one size fits all.
Right, it's about being flexible and adapting to the person and the context.
I got it.
Okay, so going back to actually putting this into practice.
Yeah.
The source talked about how it takes practice to become more assertive.
It absolutely does. It's like building a muscle.
Right.
It requires consistent effort and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone.
Which can be hard because our brains like to fall back on old habits.
Oh, totally. Even if those habits aren't serving us. That's why mindfulness is so important.
So we can catch ourselves when we're slipping into those old patterns.
Exactly. You need to become aware of your own communication patterns.
Right.
Notice those moments when you're being passive or aggressive.
And then consciously choose a more assertive approach.
You got it.
Yeah.
And those small everyday interactions become really valuable.
Oh, I see.
They're like little opportunities to practice these techniques.
Right, like mini experiments in assertiveness.
Exactly.
And hopefully as we start to see the positive results,
Right.
like less stress, better relationships,
Yeah.
it'll motivate us to keep going.
Absolutely. Positive reinforcement is a powerful tool.
Okay, so I'm definitely feeling more motivated to try this out.
That's great.
But I have to admit, there's a part of me that's still a little hesitant.
What do you mean?
Like, what if being assertive makes people think I'm difficult or unlikable?
That's a common fear, especially for people who are used to putting everyone else's needs first.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Authenticity is magnetic. When you show up as your true self, expressing your needs and boundaries with clarity and respect,
Yeah.
you attract people who value and appreciate that authenticity.
So it's not about trying to please everyone.
Right.
It's about finding the people who resonate with the real you.
Exactly. And the people who might be put off by your assertiveness
Yeah.
might be the ones who benefited from your passivity in the past.
Oh, interesting.
It's a natural part of growth and evolution.
So not everyone will be happy with the changes I make.
And that's okay. It's not your job to make everyone comfortable with your growth.
That's a good point.
Your responsibility is to yourself to honor your needs and values and to express them in a way that feels authentic to you.
So it's not about becoming someone else.
No,
It's about becoming more fully myself
exactly. It's about finding that voice that's been there all along.
and letting it shine.
Beautifully said. And as you continue to develop these assertive communication skills,
Yeah.
you'll notice a shift not just in your interactions, but in your overall sense of self.
Okay.
You'll start to feel more confident, more empowered, more capable of handling whatever life throws at you.
It's like you're reclaiming your power.
Exactly, both internally and externally.
And then what?
Well, then you can use that power to create positive change in the world around you.
Oh, wow. How so?
Well, imagine a world where everyone feels empowered to speak their truth,
Okay.
to share their ideas, challenge the status quo, and advocate for a better future.
That would be amazing.
It would, and that's the transformative power of assertive communication.
So it's not just about personal growth.
No, it's about collective evolution.
It's about using our voices to make a difference, to inspire others to create a world that reflects our values.
Precisely, and it all starts with those individual choices, those
Really?
moments where we choose to speak up, stand up for what we believe in, and use our voices to create a ripple effect of positive change.
So it's not just about what we say, but the impact our words have on others.
Exactly. Assertive communication is a catalyst for change, a tool for creating a more just equitable and compassionate world.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is, and it all starts with one conversation,
Yeah.
one courageous act of self-expression, one choice to embrace the power of our voices.
Yeah, that's a really powerful idea. You know, it's not just about learning to communicate better.
Mm.
It's about realizing that we can actually create change.
Exactly. It's about building a culture of respect and understanding.
And it makes you realize how many problems come from poor communication.
Oh, absolutely. Conflicts in relationships, misunderstandings at work,
Yeah.
even political gridlock. It often boils down to people not being able to communicate effectively.
It's like we're all speaking different languages.
That's a great way to put it. Or maybe we are speaking the same language,
Yeah.
but we're just not really hearing each other.
Right. And assertive communication can help bridge that gap.
Exactly. It creates a space where everyone feels safe to express themselves,
Hmm.
to be heard, and to work together to find solutions.
So it's not just about expressing our own needs.
No,
It's about making sure others feel heard as well.
exactly. It's about fostering empathy and understanding.
Where differences are seen as opportunities to learn and grow.
I love that.
But I imagine it takes a lot of courage to communicate like that.
It does, especially when you're challenging the status quo or speaking truth to power.
Yeah. You have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely. And face your fears.
But the rewards seem worth it.
They are. If we can all embrace this kind of communication,
Yeah.
imagine the positive impact it could have on our relationships, our communities.
Even the world.
Exactly.
This deep dive has given me so much to think about.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm ready to start putting these techniques into practice.
That's fantastic. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall back into old patterns.
Yeah.
But the important thing is to keep practicing, keep learning.
And to keep believing in the power of our voices.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been truly transformative.
And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us. We hope you found this deep dive insightful and empowering. And remember, keep using your voices to create a world that reflects your values.